The whole nation descends to the high continent, becomes a local lord, and participates in the struggle for supremacy among all ethnic lords. Some lucky lords will awaken their talents. My lord's talent is the Night Hall, which can allow the lord to transfer to a special combat profession. Fighting Knight. My lord's talent is the King of the Abyss, who can summon abyssal demons to become my lord. There are countless scientists among my people, and I want to develop a black technology civilization. My lord's talent is to refine chi and cultivate. Becoming an immortal and becoming an ancestor is something I cannot do. Zhou awakens top lord talent. 100% explosive rate. Not only can you see the enemy's loot explosion rate, but you can also let the enemy drop all their loot after death. Zhou. See if I can unleash all your lord talents. Reminder group. 594039322, welcome everyone to play keywords of the novel. National Lord. My popularity 100% no pop-ups, National Lord. My popularity 100% download the full text, National Lord. My popularity 100% latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Legendary Lord Talent. 100% explosive rate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Legendary Lord Talent. 100% explosive rate. Welcome to the Supreme Continent. Those selected by the Supreme will carry the fate of the Blue Star as lords and participate in the competition for the supremacy of the 10,000 clan lords in this continent. Each lord will have a lord's wooden house and a summoning gate at the beginning of the game. In addition, some lords will also awaken their own lord talents. Please use this as a basis to strive for the development of your territory, participate in the competition of lords of all races, and compete for the title of the only Supreme Lord. On the Supreme Continent, there are treasures, opportunities, wealth, strength, status. Everything, let's compete to the fullest. They all belong to the lords. You have awakened the lord's talent. Competing for supremacy among lords of all races. Zhou woke up. He stood up and looked around. At the entrance. It is an endless yellow desert. Behind is a rudimentary wooden house, with a white light door over 3 meters high next to it. The hot and dry wind blew onto Zhou's face, carrying a hint of yellow sand. The lords of all races are competing for supremacy. Then this should be my territory. But it's actually a desert territory. It's hard to find even water in this territory, right? Zhou's expression was somewhat unattractive. Desert territory. For a lord who needs resource development, this is undoubtedly a very bad start. At this moment, the golden virtual screen appeared in front of Zhou. Dear Lord. As a novice lord, you will have a 7-day novice protection period. During these 7 days, your territory will be covered with a newbie lord protective shield to protect it from invasion by other lords and monsters from the outside world. 7 days later, monster forces from the Crimson Mist will invade your territory as a test for your novice lord. Please work hard to develop your territory and pass the novice lord test within these 7 days, otherwise both you and your territory power will be eliminated. Zhou just finished reading. A layer of square white light shield emerged, covering his territory. This protective cover can only protect me for 7 days. In these 7 days, I must develop to have the strength to fight against monster forces. Otherwise, I will die here. He had a solemn expression on his face. Let's take a look at my development foundation first. Zhou looked at the Lord's wooden house behind him. The golden screen appears. Building name. Lord's wooden house, territory level. Black iron subordinate, architectural function. A residence for lords to live and reside in, as well as a storage location for territorial orders. Building upgrade. 200 units of wood, 200 units of fine sand, 200 units of metal, 200 units of stone, and 100 pieces of black iron mist heart. Territory architecture. Lord's Wooden House, Black Iron Subordinate, Summoning Gate, Black Iron Subordinate, Lord Talent. 100% Explosive Rate, Legendary Level, 100% Explosive Rate. You can see the enemy's loot explosive rate, and have a 100% chance of obtaining all loot when touching the corpse. I have awakened the legendary Lord's talent. The effect of 100% success rate is too outrageous, isn't it? Zhou was pleasantly surprised. He is a traveler. I have lived 2 lifetimes, both of which were very ordinary, and I have never had any good luck. I didn't expect my luck to turn around when I arrived at this highest continent. After calming down a bit, he came to the gate of summoning. Zhou looked at the white light door in front of him, and the golden screen appeared again. Building name. Summoning gate, building grade. Black iron lower level, building function. You can summon 5 indigenous people from the highest continent from the summoning gate every day, becoming a Lord subordinate and having a chance to summon professionals. Building upgrade. 100 units of wood, 100 units of fine sand, 100 units of metal, 100 units of stone, and 50 pieces of black iron mist heart. Tip. Do you want to summon immediately? Yes. Zhou immediately said. He doesn't have much combat power himself. 7 days later, we will have to rely on these lords to deal with the monster forces. Next second. The summoning gate suddenly lit up with a brighter white light, and then 5 people walked out from inside. I have seen Lord. After the 5 of them came out and saw Zhou, they immediately knelt down and respectfully said. Let's all get up. Zhou Dao. Thank you, Lord. 5 people stood up. Zhou looked at them. 3 men and 2 women out of 5. One of the men and women is 2 chefs under the command of Black Iron, appearing to be a married couple. The other 2 men do not have a profession and look average in physique. And the last woman is an archer, who is also the only professional among the 5. She was wearing standard military armor, carrying a pair of standard bows and arrows, and wearing a short sword at her waist. With a heroic face and sharp eyes. Zhou looked at her. The other party's property panel appears accordingly. Leader. Bai Yun, territory. Unnamed, branch name. Archers, strength class. Black Iron subordinate, ability overview. When I was a child, I lived with a female hunter. As I grew up, I joined the army and became an archer, skilled in killing enemies with bows and arrows. Skills. Black Iron subordinate archery, Black Iron subordinate trap arrangement, loyalty. 72, potential. Silver intermediate, leading the people with different branches of service. Zhou nodded. This is the true combat power that can deal with mist monsters and other lords. My name is Zhou. Welcome to join my territory. But since you have become my subjects and accepted my protection, you must obey my orders and work faithfully for me. Surrounded by monsters, don't you want us to deal with both the monsters outside and the chaos inside? Would you be willing to? We are willing. 5 people hurriedly said. Zhou nodded. At this moment. Bang. 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 Not far away came the sound of collisions, accompanied by a hissing of messages. Everyone's faces changed. Let's go. Go and take a look. With the protection of a novice lord, Zhou quickly calmed down upon hearing the sound, and then brought 5 lords to the sound source. I saw it outside the protective cover. A lizard with yellow skin and blood mist like eyes is constantly hitting its protective cover, trying to rush in. When it saw Zhou and the others coming, a fierce and bloodthirsty expression suddenly appeared in its eyes, and it roared at Zhou and the others. It's a crimson mist monster. Bai Yun's expression became solemn, and she took off the bow and arrow from behind, ready to attack at any time. Zhou looked at it. Monster prompt appears. Monster name. Desert Mist Lizard, Strength Class. Black Iron Subordinate, Monster Introduction. A monster in the scorching desert, born in the crimson mist, with a bloodthirsty nature and a love for hunting and killing all creatures that appear in front of it. Loot explosion rate. 2 black iron level mist hearts, explosion rate. 100%, 1 unit 20 units of black iron subordinate desert mist lizard's flesh and blood, explosion rate. 20% 1%, 1 kilogram water bag, explosion rate. 3%, 1 non-grade blade and shield soldier transfer certificate, explosion rate. 0.1%, PS1. Lord talent level. Black iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, extraordinary, epic, legend, myth. PS2. Seeking recommended tickets and collecting them. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Certificate of Transfer for Blade and Shield Soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Certificate of Transfer for Blade and Shield Soldiers. So the place under my feet is called the Jiaoyang Desert. And is this my legendary Lord talent? I can really see the explosion rate of all items. Zhou Zhou looked at the rate of spoils at the bottom, his expression somewhat excited. Eliminate this monster. Our territory has a protective cover, this monster can't charge in. We just need to attack it through the protective cover. He immediately said. Bai Yun and 5 others listened and their eyes lit up instantly. Especially Bai Yun. She directly drew her bow and arrow, took a slight aim, and then shot an arrow directly into the right eye of the desert mist lizard. The desert mist lizard roared in excruciating pain, then crazily hit the protective cover, wishing to immediately devour all Zhou Zhou and others inside. Bai Yun saw this and began shooting arrows one after another. The other 4 people, upon seeing this, also picked up the sand and stones on the ground and threw them at the desert mist lizard. 3 or 4 minutes later. The desert mist lizard, who wanted to escape, was shot in the neck by Bai Yun with an arrow and screamed to death. The kill prompt appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Your leader Bai Yun killed the black iron subordinate desert mist lizard, increasing energy by 1. The loot has been condensed. At the same time, a gentle energy suddenly appeared in Zhou Zhou's heart and then surged towards his limbs, enhancing some of his physical fitness. At the same time, he also realized that he was a little more energetic than before. Newcomer Lord's tip. When killing enemies, your territory's power will gain promotion energy. 90% of these promotion energy will strengthen the killer, and 10% will belong to the Lord himself, making the Lord stronger. Isn't that saying that we Lords can become stronger just by lying down? This is to urge us Lords to constantly go out and fight. Zhou Zhou thought of it. Lord, do you want us to bring back the body of that misty monster? Bai Yun respectfully asked. Zhou Zhou nodded. Upon seeing this, Bai Yun first observed the outside of the protective cover for a while. After confirming that there was no danger nearby, he immediately called on the other 4 people, walked out of the protective cover, and together carried back the body of the desert mist lizard, placing it in front of Zhou Zhou. Lord, please extract the spoils of war. Otherwise, in an hour's time, the body of this desert mist lizard will transform back into mist, dissipate between heaven and earth, and be reborn at an unknown time. Bai Yun reminded. Zhou Zhou was taken aback. Is there anything else like this? Can you also collect spoils of war? Zhou Zhou suddenly asked. Can. But my luck has always been average. This desert fog lizard, when I joined the army before, had the best luck. Apart from the fog heart that was bound to fall, it only dropped an additional 5 units of flesh and blood. I heard it can drop into a pure drinking water source, but when I was in the military, I only heard of it and never saw it with my own eyes. Bai Yun felt a bit unconfident in the end. Zhou Zhou understood clearly. The burst rate of a 1 kilogram water bag is only 3%, which is indeed relatively low. But this is different for him. Zhou no longer wasted time and placed his hand directly on the body of the desert mist lizard. He also has nothing to hide. This legendary talent, I will definitely use it every day in the future. It can cover up for a while but not for a lifetime. A golden prompt appears. Extract spoils of war. Yes. Zhou thought to himself. Next second. A text prompt appears. Lord Talent Tip. You have obtained loot. 2 mist hearts, black iron level, 20 units of desert mist lizard blood and meat, black iron level, 1 kilogram water bag, and 1 blade and shield soldier transfer certificate, no grade. Wow. Under the stunned gaze of Bai Yun and others, the body of this desert mist lizard instantly turned into countless spoils of war, scattered on the ground. They even piled up into a small mountain of spoils of war. There's water bursting out. And there are spoils of war that I haven't even heard of. Lord, what kind of luck is this? Bai Yun was shocked and said. Zhou was also extremely surprised. This explosive scene looks too exciting, right? He restrained his excitement, stood up, and said to Bai Yun and the others. Move them all to the door of my lord's wooden house. Yes. 5 people came to their senses and hurriedly said. Then we started moving things. Zhou picked up one of the books with a picture of sword and shield soldiers on the cover and started reading. A text prompt appears. Item name. Certificate of transfer of blade and shield soldiers, item level. No level, item effect. A basic unit transfer prop. After use, it can become a basic unit profession. Blade and shield soldier. It also has a set of standard equipment for black iron subordinates, 1 year of practical experience for blade and shield soldiers, and the initial strength of black iron subordinates. Item description. Basic branch transfer certificate. With just 1 book, you can take ordinary people without any strength into the extraordinary path of branch professions. Zhou's eyes lit up. Good thing. Undoubtedly, it is a loot that can only be dropped with a 0.01% probability. Think for a moment. He doesn't intend to use it himself. Firstly, he doesn't value this basic unit. He, who has legendary talent, will definitely have better job transfers in the future. Secondly, as a lord, he doesn't need to go out and fight monsters to improve his strength, which proves that his job transfer is a waste. Give it to the civilian population now. Zhou has made a decision. He called the remaining 2 non-professional lords over and asked them who would be willing to become blade and shield soldiers. Surprisingly, both of them were willing to face such a dangerous profession. In the end, Zhou handed it over to Zhang Tsang, who had the potential to be a subordinate of silver. The potential of the other person is only intermediate level bronze, and the certificate of transfer can be given to him next time. Looking at the excited expression on the other person's face, Zhou realized that he underestimated the indigenous people of this world and their desire to become professionals. After all, professionals represent mastering extraordinary powers. Then the other party used the transfer certificate in person. A burst of white light erupted from him. After a moment, Zhang Tsang, dressed in the standard equipment of sword and shield soldiers, appeared in front of Zhou. His gaze remained calm with a hint of sharpness. Obviously, I have benefited greatly from the certificate of transfer of blade and shield soldiers. Thank you, Lord, for making your subordinates professional soldiers. I am willing to die for the Lord. He knelt on the ground and said feverishly. Your loyalty to the leader Zhang Tsang has increased to 92. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Loyalty above 90 points is almost never betrayed. Then he clicked on the other party's panel information. Leader. Zhang Tsang, territory. Unnamed, branch name. Blade and shield soldier, strength class. Black Iron Subordinate, Ability Overview. Using the Blade and Shield Soldier Transfer Certificate to become a professional in the unit, possessing the basic combat skills of a Blade and Shield Soldier. Skill. Black Iron Subordinate Knife Shield Combined Strike Technique, Loyalty. 92, Potential. Silver Subordinate, End of this chapter. Chapter 3. World Channel. Recruitment Book for Blade and Shield Soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 World Channel. Recruitment Book for Blade and Shield Soldiers. Now I have 2 professional soldiers under my command. Zhou thought to himself. I feel a sense of security in my heart. But naturally, this is far from enough. Zhang Tsung. Yuan Bai Yun, lead other lords to patrol inside the territory's protective cover and see if there are any fog monsters around. If there is, you can kill it. Then bring the body to me. Remember. It's best to kill monsters through protective covers. If you are confident that you will not be injured, you can try to leave the protective cover range and kill the monster, but do not stay too far away. Putting personal safety first in everything. Zhou cautioned. These 2 professional soldiers, Ling Min, are his treasures, and he doesn't want any accidents between them. Yes, Lord. Zhang Tsung respectfully said. Then he went to find Bai Yun and the others. At this moment, 4 consecutive prompts suddenly sounded in Zhou's ear. Lord's personal information has been unlocked. Blue Star Lord World Channel has been unlocked. Blue Star Lord Exchange has been unlocked. Friend Bar unlocked. Zhou was taken aback and first opened the personal information of the Lord. Title of Lord. None, Strength Class. Black Iron Subordinate, Territory Name. Unnamed, Territory Level. Black Iron Subordinate, Territory. 400M x 400M x 400M, Lord Talent. 100% Explosive Rate, Legendary Level, Territory Architecture. Lord's Wooden House, Black Iron Subordinate, Summoning Gate, Black Iron Subordinate, Race Talent. None, Equipment. None, Skill. None, Mist Heart. 2 pieces, Source Crystal. 0, Zhou thought for a moment and named the title of Lord Jiaoyang Lord and the territory Jiaoyang City. After all, the land under his feet is the scorching desert, and he doesn't think of any other names. Then he opened the Blue Star Lord Exchange and Friends section again. The Blue Star Lord Exchange is a place where all lords can trade goods. However, as it has just been launched, there are not many products available here at the moment. At most, it is basic materials such as stone, wood, and metal. The Friends section is also empty. Zhou saw this and opened the Blue Star Lord World Channel. Next second. A virtual screen with a blue star background appeared in front of him. I saw a massive number of Lord speeches constantly refreshing in the channel. Brothers and sisters, have we really crossed? It's really time travel, not a dream. Just now I slapped the leader I summoned, but these 2 idiots gave me a big push with their backhand. My face still hurts a bit. The loyalty of newly summoned leaders is generally only slightly above the passing line. It is best not to do anything to reduce loyalty. What is your Lord's talent? I am a diamond-level Lord Talent Knight Hall, and the territory comes with a special building that can cost a certain amount to send the lords in, becoming a special combat profession that masters fighting spirit. Fighting Knight. Damn it. Diamond-level Lord Talent. I'm just the Black Iron-level Lord Talent Lord Recruitment Order, which can summon an additional 3 lords from the Summoning Gate every day. I'm okay, I'm a Bronze-level Lord Talent. Servant Ghost Master Station. There will be Servant Ghost Master professionals passing by my territory, and I have a certain chance of recruiting them to become my lord. I am the Golden Lord Talent. Falcon Corps. The territory comes with a Falcon Corps that can recruit Special Operations Corps with Blue Star technology. There is a significant difference in talent between lords of different levels. Woo-woo, envy you, I haven't awakened the lord's talent. Why can you awaken your talents? I can't do it. This is unfair. The lifespan of European locusts is extremely short. Have you gone to fight against the Scarlet Mist monster? I just asked my lord to fight against an iron-toothed mist dog through a protective cover, but he tried his best and only dropped 2 mist hearts and 1 unit of flesh. Do you also have monsters over there? I do too. I also have it here, and there are 7 or 8. Can I still drop flesh and blood? Why did I only drop 2 mist hearts? After looking for a while, Zhou began to ponder. From the speeches of these lords, high-level lord talents seem very rare. About 80% of lords have talents at the levels of black iron, bronze, and silver. The remaining 20% is above gold. As for legendary lord talents like him, he has not seen anyone claim to have them until now. The strength of the monster outside is really outrageous, it's just 1. It's so difficult to kill even through the protective cover, and this is just the monster from the first day. How difficult was it to test the novice lord 7 days later? Stop talking, I'm already starting to panic. Killing monsters can increase the strength of both your subordinates and yourself. If you want to survive the novice lord test in 7 days, you probably have to rely on this path. Relying solely on protective shields to kill monsters is also too inefficient. You don't have enough leaders in your hands, dare you go out? I can't defeat monsters if I go out, but the efficiency of killing monsters is low if I don't go out. It's a dilemma. Zhou watched and became wary. These lords are right. The monster on the first day is so difficult, what kind of monster will it become after 7 days? To safely pass the 7-day test, I must work hard to accumulate strength during these 7 days. At this moment, the sound of battle came from not far away. Soon, 2 gentle energies of promotion appeared in his body out of thin air, causing him to be mentally shaken. Not for a while. Bai Yun and Zhang Tsang, along with other leaders, carried the bodies of 2 desert mist lizards and walked over excitedly, then placed the bodies in front of Zhou. Report to Lord. We just discovered these 2 desert fog lizards and have solved them through protective covers. After speaking, Bai Yun looked at Zhou expectantly. The same goes for other lords. Zhou saw their gaze and couldn't help but twitch his lips a few times. He looked at the bodies of these 2 desert fog lizards. The body of one of the desert fog lizards is also a subordinate of black iron. The loot that can fall out is exactly the same as before. The body of the other desert mist lizard is not only twice the size of the subordinate desert mist lizard of black iron, but also has more abundant spoils than before. Item name: Carcass of desert mist lizard, item level: Black iron intermediate, item effect: It contains loot that has not been extracted yet. Item description: Misty monster killed by soldiers from Jiaoyang City. Tip: After 1 hour, the corpse will transform into a mist and be reborn at some point in the future. Loot explosion rate: For black iron mist hearts, explosion rate: 100%, 1 to 40 units of black iron intermediate desert mist lizard's flesh and blood, explosion rate. 20%, 0.5%, 3 kilograms water bag, explosion rate. 3%, 1 non-grade blade and shield soldier transfer certificate, explosion rate. 0.1%, 1 black iron intermediate blade and shield soldier recruitment book, explosion rate. 0.1%, PS, seeking recommended tickets. Seeking collection. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Clearing monsters. Harvest a lot. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4: Clearing monsters. Harvest a lot. Zhou raised his eyebrows. How could you kill monsters in Black Iron Intermediate? He looked at Bai Yun and the others in surprise. Thanks to Zhang Tsang. If it weren't for him taking the initiative to attract the desert mist lizard who wanted to escape, we may have to watch it run away. Bai Yun said. Zhou Zhou looked at Zhang Tsang. Report to Lord. Although this desert mist lizard is a mid-level black iron monster, its subordinate units are skilled in defense, so they can still withstand 1 or 2 attacks from it. Of course, no more is enough. In addition, my subordinates know that behind it lies an invincible defense shield. That's why my subordinates dare to step out of the protective cover to attract this monster. Zhang Tsang did not contribute either. Brave and strategic, done well. Zhou Zhou praised. Then he first extracted the loot from the desert mist lizard at the lower level of black iron, and then placed his hand on the desert mist lizard at the intermediate level of black iron. The golden prompt reappears. Extract spoils of war. Yes. Zhou Zhouxin said. Lord Talent Tip. You have obtained loot. 4 mist hearts, black iron level, 40 units of desert mist lizard blood and meat, black iron level, 3 kilograms water bag, 1 blade and shield soldier transfer certificate, no grade, and 1 blade and shield soldier recruitment book, black iron level. Wow. The same scene is reproduced. The body of the desert mist lizard exploded again, turning into a large number of spoils of war. The people around were once again stunned. Zhang Tsang, who saw this scene for the first time, was also confused. Zhou Zhou took away the certificate of transfer of blade and shield soldiers, and the recruitment letter for blade and shield soldiers, and then they carried the remaining spoils of war to the entrance of the Lord's wooden house. Afterwards, he asked the chef couple to take 20 units of flesh and blood, roast them all, and make them into grilled meat for everyone to eat. The conditions are quite difficult now. We can only make this simple food. When everyone left here to patrol the surroundings, Zhou Zhou looked at the new loot in his hand. There is no need to say much about the certificate of transfer of blade and shield soldiers. He looked at the recruitment book for sword and shield soldiers. Item name. Recruitment book for blade and shield soldiers, item level. Black iron intermediate, item effect. Basic unit recruitment book. By throwing it into the summoning gate, you can summon a black iron intermediate potential black iron lower level blade and shield soldier to become your leader. Item description. One of the sources of troops for the Lord of the World, only the lucky ones among the lords can obtain it. Can you summon a soldier directly? Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. He immediately took it to the summoning gate and threw it into it. Soon. A man wearing standard armor, holding an iron shield in his left hand and a simple sword in his right hand, walked out of the summoning gate. I have seen Lord Yellowstone before. He saluted respectfully. No need to be polite. Zhou Zhou nodded. He glanced at the other person's attributes. Indeed, it has intermediate potential in black iron. Strength is the initial black iron subordinate strength. Although the potential is very low. But he was still very satisfied in his heart. After all, he only has 2 advanced soldiers now. At this moment, he looked out of the protective cover. A bold idea suddenly struck me in my heart. If more desert mist lizards could drop this recruitment book for blade and shield soldiers, wouldn't they have a continuous source of blade and shield soldiers? He thought of it here. My heart suddenly pounded. After a moment, he just calmed down. He also knows that this idea is not very realistic. Firstly, desert fog lizards cannot exist indefinitely. This is not a game. After killing, it will not refresh again. Secondly, in the scorching desert of Noda, there is definitely not only the desert fog lizard, a type of fog monster. When other monsters drop loot, there may not necessarily be recruitment books or similar items. Later, Zhou Zhou called the last non-professional leader over and handed him the transfer certificate, allowing him to also transfer to become a sword and shield soldier. Then he asked the other party and Huangshi to go find Bai Yun and Zhang Tsang together and solve the fog monsters around them. Time flies by quickly. In the blink of an eye. More than an hour passed. During this period, Zhou Zhou kept using the newly obtained recruitment book for blade and shield soldiers to summon new soldiers one by one and ask them to assist Bai Yun and the others. The result is, in an hour's time, he has added 6 new blade and shield soldiers under his command. Among them, there are 5 intermediate potential black iron players. 1 black iron superior potential player. In addition, with the addition of Bai Yun and his 4 companions, the number of professional soldiers under his command has reached 10. And Zhang Yun and 10 others, in this hour, completely solved 18 desert fog lizards. Successfully cleared all visible desert fog lizards within a 100-meter radius of the protective cover, ensuring temporary safety around the territory. Bai Yun successfully broke through to black iron intermediate level because she killed the most monsters. And among these killed desert fog lizards, there are 12 black iron junior desert mist lizards, 5 black iron intermediate desert mist lizards, and 1 black iron superior desert mist lizard elite. With the help of the Lord's talent, a total of 52 black iron mist hearts, 240 units of black iron subordinate desert mist lizard flesh and blood, 200 units of black iron intermediate desert mist lizard blood and meat, 100 units of black iron superior desert mist lizard flesh and blood, a water bag with a total weight of 37 kilograms. 18 black iron subordinate knife shield soldier transfer certificate, no grade. 5 black iron intermediate recruitment books for blade and shield soldiers and 1 black iron superior recruitment book for blade and shield soldiers, already in use. The final trophy is a black iron superior skill called Sand Diving Technique. Skill name: Sand Diving Technique, Skill Quality. Black Iron Superior, Skill Description. Control the sand under your feet to quickly burrow into the desert, which can be used for rapid movement, hiding, and escape in the desert. This skill book is exactly the loot of the Desert Mist Lizard Elite. Zhou Zhou clapped his hands on the skill book. A text prompt appears. Have you learned the skill Sand Diving Technique? Yes. Zhou Zhou Dao. Next second, the skill book in his hand transformed into countless golden radiances that blended into his eyebrows and heart. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes. After a moment, he opened his eyes. He looked at the ground under his feet, with a strange feeling in his heart that he could manipulate the sand under his feet and then dive into it. The territory I am in is a desert-type territory. This sand diving technique will definitely be very useful to me. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied with his first skill in his heart. He collected the other spoils of war and kept them as backup. Report to Lord. We have cleaned up all the desert fog lizards within 100 meters of the protective cover. We haven't found any other types of fog monsters yet. Do we need to go further and eliminate monsters in the distance? Bai Yun respectfully asked. P.S. Seeking recommended tickets and collecting them. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Race Skill Book. Race Talent Ball. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Race Skill Book. Race Talent Ball. Sure. But don't go too far. When encountering difficult monsters, don't be too eager to fight, come back immediately, and prioritize protecting your own safety. Remember to bring a water bag and barbecue as supplies. After some thought, Zhou Zhou agreed. If it's at the beginning. He only has a few professional soldiers under his command, so he will definitely not let them venture out of the protective cover range. But now he has 10 professional soldiers. Although there are not many people like this, as long as they do not encounter bronze-level fog monsters, there is basically not much danger. In addition, by killing monsters, they and their own strength will also become stronger and stronger in battle. So now he dares to let them go hunting the mist monster. After a moment, Bai Yun and 10 other professional soldiers left the protective range with water bags and barbecue, hunting monsters outside. There is a protective cover in Jiaoyang City. As long as Zhou Zhou and his team do not die and leave the protective cover range, there is no need to leave soldiers to guard. I don't know if Bai Yun and his companions will encounter other monsters. If it can be touched, perhaps I can also acquire other branches of the army. Zhou Zhou pondered. Time flies by during the day. During this period, the bodies of desert mist lizards were constantly sent back to their territory by Bai Yun and his team, and then extracted as war spoils by Zhou Zhou. If there is a recruitment book for blade and shield soldiers, Zhou Zhou will directly use it and have the summoned new soldiers join Bai Yun and her companions for hunting. In addition, Bai Yun and his companions are very cautious when hunting and never venture into danger. Their team of soldiers not only did not lose any of them on this day, but the number of soldiers began to expand at a visible speed to the naked eye. The sky has become dim. Zhou Zhou, who was eating barbecue while drinking on the World Channel, suddenly shook his body. I suddenly felt that my physical fitness and mental strength had greatly improved. He opened his personal information. Only in the category of the powerful class. My own strength has been greatly improved to the intermediate level of black iron. Finally promoted. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. At this moment, he suddenly noticed that a lot of crimson mist had formed out of thin air outside the protective cover. Scarlet mist has appeared. He immediately stood up with a serious expression on his face. Rows of blood prompts slowly appeared before his eyes. Warning! Dark night is about to fall, and crimson mist will cover most of the high continent at this time. Countless mist monsters will be born from the crimson mist, increasing their strength by 500%, and will start hunting indiscriminately. At this time, only creatures within the protection shield of novice lords can be protected from harm. It is recommended that the Lord immediately recall all the people of the territory to avoid unnecessary losses to the people. Bai Yun and the others need to come back quickly. Otherwise, when the night falls completely, they will be in danger. Zhou Zhou looked at the warning with a somewhat solemn expression. He opened the World Channel. The lords were also discussing the matter of the crimson mist at this moment. This crimson mist looks so scary. A good Lord world, how could it turn into a terrifying world as soon as it gets dark? Night alone is so terrifying. I don't want to be any lord anymore, I want to go back to Blue Star. Zhou Zhou looked at it twice, but he didn't feel in the mood to look. After a moment, Zhou Zhou, who was eagerly anticipating, finally saw Bai Yun and the others returning. But not 10 people came back. But it's a total of 46 people. The extra 36 people are the additional troops that Zhou Zhou continuously recruited with the newly obtained recruitment book for blade and shield soldiers on this day. It is absolutely unimaginable for other lords at this stage to have so many professions in various branches. Lord! We're all back. No one died. However, 7 people suffered some minor injuries. Bai Yun came to Zhou Zhou and reported. Take them to take a good rest. Zhou Zhou Dao. Yes. Bai Yun bowed and then had the wounded find a place to rest. At the same time, some soldiers who knew how to set up temporary tents were asked to set up some tents for overnight living. Zhou Zhou admired Bai Yun's series of commands in his heart. At this moment, he was puzzled to find that Bai Yun and the others had not brought back any bodies of desert mist lizards. Zhou Zhou didn't hide his doubts and directly asked. Report to Lord. This is related to what my subordinate needs to report. After bringing back the body of the desert mist lizard last time, my subordinates and others had planned to go further to see it. I didn't expect it. On the way, we encountered 6 different races. At that time, the the surrounding desert fog lizards had almost been hunted out by us. I want to investigate the intelligence of these foreign tribes for the Lord. I will temporarily give up searching for other desert fog lizards. Bai Yun reported. Alien race. Zhou Zhou's heart pounded. Can't it be another world lord? Is it another type of fog monster? He asked with the last hint of luck in his arms. Now is the first day of his development. The development of his territory has just begun. He really doesn't want to encounter other lords of all races at this time. As long as he is given enough time, he is likely to pull out hundreds or thousands of professional soldiers. At that time, it's when he has the confidence to touch other race lords. Their eyes are not crimson, and I believe they are not monsters born in the crimson mist. Additionally, when we discovered the opponent, they were fighting against 4 desert fog lizards. And there were also casualties. The other party seemed to have noticed us in the end. They immediately ended the battle and left behind a corpse of their companion. After Bai Yun finished speaking, with a move of her right hand, she saw 2 sword and shield soldiers carrying a special corpse walking over and placing it in front of Zhou Zhou. This corpse is silver white all over. He is about 1.2 meters tall. It has slender limbs but a very large head. 2 dark, ink-like eyes, staring empty at the sky, seem to reflect the tragedy before its death. The fatal injury was a bitten hole in its neck. Zhou Zhou frowned as he looked at the corpse. Why does this body look so much like the classic alien in the movie? He looked at the other person's panel information. Item name. Rags corpse, item level. Black iron subordinate, item effect. It contains loot that has not been extracted yet. Item description. A commoner under Lord Boz's command, who attempted to control the desert mist lizard but failed, was bitten to death by the enraged desert mist lizard. Loot explosion rate. 2 black iron level mist hearts, explosion rate. 100%, a skill book for growing races. Spirit control, explosion rate. 0.01%, and a platinum superior race talent ball, explosion rate. 0.0001%, PS, seeking recommended tickets and collecting them. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Spiritual Control. Junior Spiritual Potential. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Spiritual Control. Junior Spiritual Potential. Zhou Zhou's heart sank. You are really another world lord. However, when he saw these 46 soldiers, Bai Yun, he felt a little more at ease. Fortunately, my side is not weak either. Zhou Zhou pondered for a moment and looked at Bai Yun. What do you think of their combat abilities? He asked. I feel that these foreign races' close combat abilities are very average. They seem to be using their manipulation of desert fog lizards to remotely deal with other desert fog lizards. However, this method may be bizarre. But we have a significant advantage in terms of numbers. I think we have a great chance of winning against them. Bai Yun immediately understood the thoughts of her lord and said without hesitation. Zhou Zhou nodded. I feel a little more confident in my heart. I can't underestimate myself. He reminded himself in his heart. 46 professional soldiers with combat power. He feels that his combat power has at least ranked among the top among all Blue Star Lords. Even if the other party is a stranger. But they not only have weak physical strength. There seem to be significant limitations in terms of mental abilities. There shouldn't be any major problem for our side to deal with these alien races. Be prepared. Tomorrow, go find the territory of this foreign lord. Then find an opportunity to lure them out and eliminate them. Also, in a moment, the crimson mist will completely descend. At that time, more fog monsters will appear from the crimson mist. You're inside the protective cover, take turns killing them for me. The bodies are still kept, waiting for me to handle them. Zhou Zhou Dao. On the side of the bed, how can others snore and sleep? When he is adjacent to the opponent's territory, this battle is destined to be fought. Then he chooses to take action first. Yes, Lord. Bai Yun left with 45 other sword and shield soldiers. Zhou Zhou placed his hand on the corpse. A golden prompt appears. Extract spoils of war. Yes. Zhou Zhou Dao. Lord's talent tip. You have obtained loot. 2 Missed Hearts, Black Iron level, a race skill book. Spirit Control, Can Grow, and a race talent ball, Platinum level. Zhou Zhou returned to the Lord's cabin with these spoils of war. Just return to the Lord's cabin. Apart from the simple furniture, what catches the eye is a pure white rectangular stone tablet with a collar character written on it. Name. Territory Stone Steel, Territory. Jiaoyang City, Level. Black Iron Subordinate, Durability. 1000/1000, Introduction. The foundation of a lord is where the domain order is stored. If the domain order is taken by other creatures besides the lord, it can be considered as the destruction of the territory, and the token owner will automatically lose their lord identity. Current Lord. Lord Jiaoyang, Zhou Zhou had already seen it before, so he took a glance and went to see the loot he had just obtained. Firstly, it is the race skill book that has a 1 in 10,000 chance of falling out. Race skill name. Mental control, skill quality. Can grow, skill description. Control mental power, invade consciousness of other life forms, and can enslave the other party in a short period of time. The level and duration of enslavement depend on the user's mental strength. This should be the means used by those alien races to manipulate the desert mist lizard. Zhou Zhou guessed in his heart. Then choose to learn directly. After mastering, he found a hidden force in his eyebrows that he had been hiding for a long time. He couldn't feel it before. Now he can not only feel it, but also manipulate it to enslave others. So this is what can be grown. If my mental strength is at the black iron level, then I can control black iron level creatures. If my mental intensity is higher, then my level of control over creatures' strength and time will also increase. So it doesn't have a fixed rating. Zhou Zhou suddenly realized. Then he looked at the loot that had a 1 in a million chance of falling. Platinum Superior's Racial Talent Ball. Treasure Name. Race Talent Ball. Junior Spiritual Potential, Treasure Level. Platinum Superior, Treasure Effect. After use, you can significantly enhance your current mental strength and obtain a basic spiritual potential talent. This talent can make your spiritual potential far exceed that of ordinary creatures, and every time you break through in terms of mental strength, you can always obtain a higher limit of spiritual strength improvement. Treasure Introduction. The race talent of the Carlo tribe, after use, will possess the race talent ability of that race. Note. The breakthrough gain of this talent will continue until you reach the platinum level. Zhou Zhou took a deep breath. He probably knows how precious treasures of the platinum superior level are. Based on the fact that he and the chef couple are familiar with the people. Normally, the human potential of the supreme continent is mostly in the levels of black iron, bronze, and silver. The human race at the golden level can already be considered as talents. The human race with platinum level potential can basically be said to be at the top of human talent. That is to say, just this platinum superior's racial talent ball can create a top-notch talent in the celebrity clan. No wonder my lord's talent is defined as legendary. The range of items that can be dropped is too broad. Surprisingly, even things like racial talent can be exposed. Does that mean? If I kill more exotic creatures and absorb their racial talents, I can completely create myself into a terrifying existence that combines the talents of all races in one world. If there's extra, I can even build such a terrifying army. Zhou Zhou felt more and more that his lord's talent was too strong. He even feels that his talent is enough to be called a mythological talent. As for why it is legendary, he also doesn't understand the reason. After a while, he just came to his senses and without hesitation, used this racial talent ball. Soon, Zhou felt the spiritual power at the center of his eyebrows start to surge at an astonishing speed. After a moment, this spiritual surge slowly comes to a halt and ultimately stabilizes completely. He opened his personal information. Look at your racial talent column. The information in this column has changed. Race talent. Junior spiritual potential, platinum superior. Zhou satisfactorily closed the personal information of the Lord. Afterwards, he did not immediately try to use his surging spirit, but instead sorted out the remaining gains. He quickly finished organizing it. Except for the desert fog lizards that were previously killed. Bai Yun and her team killed 78 desert fog lizards today. Among them, there are 42 black iron subordinates. Black iron intermediate 35 head. 1 black iron superior. A total of 35 black iron intermediate, blade and shield soldier recruitment books, and 1 black iron superior, blade and shield soldier recruitment book, have been dropped. These have become 36 sword and shield soldiers following behind Bai Yun. In addition, there are 78 copies of the Certificate of Transfer of Blade and Shield Soldiers, which are temporarily not useful as they do not have a relationship with non-professional leaders. Finally, there are 232 black iron level mist hearts, 2,340 units of desert mist lizard blood and meat, black iron lower, middle, upper, 147 kilograms water bag, and 1 black iron superior sand diving skill book. You can try upgrading your territory now. Zhou looked at these resources and thought to himself. P.S. Currently ranked 27th on the game's contracted author new book list, seeking recommendation votes and various data. As long as you enter the top 10 of the game's new book list, add 1 update before listing, and explode 5 updates after listing. Requesting recommended tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Ranks first in visits. 20,000 units of basic materials. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 ranks first in visits. 20,000 units of basic materials. Zhou first opens the Blue Star Lord World Channel. The World Channel remains as lively as ever, with a large number of Lord speeches frequently refreshed. What is the explosive rate of this foggy monster? Is it so difficult for me to make a piece of meat to eat? A master in statistics has analyzed that the probability of a monster dropping flesh and blood after being killed is about 20% to 30%. That is to say, killing 5 monsters may drop 1 unit of flesh and blood. With hard work, we can still eat meat. The probability is that I vomited. Mist monsters are not so easy to kill. I missed the Blue Star game, 1 Blade 999, where equipment explodes randomly. Big shots, please give me some food as a gift. If I don't get some wild fruits and vegetables, I can eat them. If I don't get some more, my people will eat me. As soon as I said this upstairs, I suddenly remembered that my 5 starving leaders looked at me as if something was wrong. Lie down, brother. Run quickly. It's okay if the Lord doesn't behave properly. Saving life is the most important. Don't become a dish for the lords. Brother, can you give me some good food? Sister, I have a photo of Haokong here for my brother. I don't believe it, unless you make me healthy first. Zhou was taken aback. He opened the Blue Star Lord Exchange and took a look. Sure enough. There are very few transactions selling food. Even if a lord sells food, it will be instantly bought by other lords. At present, more than 80% of transactions on the exchange are selling basic materials such as wood, metal, stone, and fine sand. And most of the items they are looking for are also food. Of course, meat is the best. Wild fruits and vegetables are also good. Zhou's face was strange. He has already exposed nearly 3,000 units of the flesh and blood of the desert mist lizard today due to a 100% explosion rate. So he never worried about food at all. Even worrying about so much flesh and blood, what should I do if it smells after being left for a long time? I didn't expect other lords to suffer so badly due to a lack of food. Think of it here. He suddenly had a bold idea. He applied to initiate a transaction and then began setting up the transaction content. After a moment. Setting completed. Trading name. Trading of Lord Jiaoyang, trading goods. 1,000 units of black iron subordinate desert mist lizard flesh and blood. Transaction requirement. Every 1 unit of black iron subordinate desert mist lizard blood and meat, trade 20 units of basic materials, and each lord can trade up to 10 units of desert mist lizard blood and meat. Note: if you have any special treasures, you can privately chat with me for a separate transaction. Current transaction views ranking. 421, 212, 4514, now is the early stage of Lord's development, which is why flesh and blood are so valuable, and the price of basic materials is so low. After the Lord's development and easy access to food, this situation will not occur again. I can definitely take advantage of this and sell a large amount of meat and blood at a high price to obtain a large amount of basic materials. It can also improve the building level, by the way. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up as he thought. As for why each lord can only buy 10 units of flesh and blood from him. This is his little thought. He also doesn't want the goods he sells to become powerful food for other lords, and then turn around to deal with himself in the future. But if you trade up to 10 units of flesh and blood, you don't have to worry too much. Moreover, although it is a desert territory, theoretically there is no need to buy sand. But the sand in the desert is not suitable as a building material, so it still needs to be purchased. At the same time, in the exchange, Zhou Zhou's transaction has also been discovered by other lords. Subsequently, more and more lords have discovered Zhou Zhou's trade. This has caused Zhou Zhou's ranking of transaction views to skyrocket at an astonishing speed. Current transaction views ranking. 355, 462, 9999, current transaction views ranking. 112,654,544th place. Current transaction views ranking. 185566663, current transaction views ranking. First place. Within the exchange, Zhou Zhou's transaction has already appeared in the highest and most prominent position. At the same time, there has also been a heated discussion on the World Channel about Zhou Zhou's transaction. Sleeping slot. A lord actually sells 1,000 units of flesh and blood. I'm a fool. Who is this arrogant Sun Lord? Where did he get these 1,000 units of desert mist lizard flesh and blood? According to the statistics expert Lord, this expert should have killed at least 5,000 desert mist lizards of black iron subordinates in order to possibly produce so much advanced flesh and blood. Absolutely outrageous. What is the Lord's talent of this big brother? Does he have a dragon clan unit or a divine unit? Desert mist lizard is so cute. Alright, stop pretending. I just bought 2 units and plan to try braising them. I heard that advanced meat and blood not only taste good, but also can enhance physical fitness after eating. Is this trading price too dark? 1 unit of flesh and blood requires 20 units of basic materials. The highest market price is only 1 for 10. As a former businessman, I can understand in my heart, but my limited resources make me strongly condemn this behavior. Bad merchants. The meat on Blue Star is only used to fill the stomach. At present, meat can not only fill the stomach but also improve physical fitness. No one really thinks that this meat is not worth this price, right? A certain wilderness area. A territory is located here. In this territory, besides the Lord's wooden house and the summoning gate, there is also a magnificent and majestic Western-style building. At this moment, in front of the building, a young man wearing knightly armor and holding a knightly spear, but wearing modern golden glasses, was frowning as he watched Zhou-Zhou's transaction. 1,000 units of black iron subordinate monsters flesh and blood. Even if I transform all 5 of my lords into fighting knights, I can't get so much monster flesh and blood in just one day. How did he actually do it? Does he have any weapons of mass destruction? He was lost in thought. His name is Zhang Ji, the owner of the Diamond Lord Talent Night Hall. When I was at Blue Star, I was a top student studying abroad. He, who longed for the prosperity of foreign countries, had originally planned to give up returning to his home country and stay abroad. Who came to think? In the blink of an eye, he arrived on the supreme continent with billions of Blue Star people and became a lord. After discovering that his lord's talent was quite good, he was immediately overjoyed. I feel that I can also become a hegemon on this highest continent. Unexpectedly, I saw a lord who seemed to be even stronger than him now. This made him very unhappy. It's just a fleeting sight. Sooner or later, I will lead my knightly army to suppress your territory and know your secret. Zhang Ji's face was slightly cold. Jiaoyang City. Lord's cabin. Zhou has been watching the Exchange and World Channel. So he also saw the discussion among the lords. In normal discussions, he would watch with a natural expression. Regarding the discussion of personal attacks, Zhou will also ignore it directly. At this moment, a row of golden prompts appears. Your private message is full, please clear it promptly. Current number of private messages: 100 million. Your friend application field is full, please clean it up in a timely manner. Current number of friend applications: 100 million. 100 million pieces. Zhou's scalp is numb. He opened the Friends section without even looking at the application, and directly turned off the Friend application function. Subsequently, through system filtering, the vast majority of worthless harassing private messages were filtered out, leaving only a few hundred messages that were intended for real transactions. After finishing all of this, the backstage just quieted down. He breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing this. Then I slowly started reading the private message. 2 minutes later, Zhou glanced at his trading backend again and found that all 1,000 units of flesh and blood had been sold out, which also gave him a lot of resources. The specific achievements are as follows. Transaction results: 4,800 units of wood, 7,000 units of fine sand, 3,400 units of metal, and 6,800 units of stone. 22,000 units of basic materials. At this moment, it's really easy to obtain basic materials. Zhou was pleasantly surprised. Then, instead of reading the private message, he immediately walked out of the Lord's wooden house and looked at the building in front of him. His mind twitched. A line of text prompts appears. Do you want to upgrade the Lord's cabin? Yes. Zhou Dao. Next second. The upgrade has started. P.S. Seeking recommended tickets and collecting them. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Upgrading buildings. 212 Blade and Shield Soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Upgrading Buildings. 212 Blade and Shield Soldiers. A burst of golden light covered the entire Lord's wooden house. After a moment, the golden light dissipates. Zhou looked over. I saw that although the Lord's wooden house was still a wooden house, it was a bit less rudimentary compared to before and looked much better. A series of text prompts appear. Congratulations, your Lord's wooden house has been successfully upgraded to a black iron intermediate building, adding 1 living room. Your territory has been successfully upgraded to black iron intermediate territory. The durability of the territory stone steel has been increased to 5000/5000. Your territory has expanded to 1000 m times 1000 m times 1000 m. All fog monsters within the newly added territory have been expelled. Scarlet mist will not appear within any of your territorial boundaries. You have received an upgrade reward. Residential drawing, black iron subordinate, ... A golden light appeared in front of Zhou. After the light dissipated, a blueprint appeared and fell into his hands. Architectural drawing name. Residential buildings, drawing grade. Black iron lower level, drawing effect. Basic architectural drawings. After learning from architects, they can master the construction methods of black iron subordinate buildings. Residential buildings, and be able to build suitable residential buildings. Building materials. 100 units of wood, 50 units of fine sand, 50 units of metal, and 50 units of stone. Learning requirement. Only architects can learn. After seeing the final learning requirements, Zhou put them away with some regret. There are no architects in his territory yet, so although this blueprint is very practical, he still can't use it now. Zhou looked at the white light shield of the cube above his head. At this point, its coverage has also expanded many times. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Their range of safe activities has been further expanded. Then he looked at the upgrade requirements for the next level. Building upgrade. 500 units of wood, 500 units of fine sand, 500 units of metal, 500 units of stone, 500 units of black iron level mist heart, and a black iron level territory token. Zhou frowned slightly. He is completely satisfied with the basic materials. But black iron mist heart, he still has 196 left in his hand, 304 more than 500. As for the black iron level territory order, it requires attacking the territories of other lords to obtain. He naturally doesn't have it now. He shook his head and arrived at the summoning gate, upgrading it. Congratulations, your summoning gate has been successfully upgraded to a black iron intermediate building. You can summon 3 leaders every day. There must be a professional among the lords you summon every day. The upgrade of the summoning gate did not result in much change. Just a slight light, and then calmness returned. However, Zhou is very satisfied with its improvement. This can be improved. So I can summon 8 leaders every day. And there will inevitably be a professional. I hope you can give me an architect tomorrow. Otherwise, soldiers would have to live in temporary tents every day. He looked forward to speaking to himself. He looked towards the summoning gate to upgrade to the Black Iron Superior's upgrade request. Building upgrade. 300 units of wood, 300 units of fine sand, 300 units of metal, 300 units of stone, 300 units of black iron mist heart, and the territory level has been upgraded to Black Iron Superior. Whether it's the Lord's cabin or the summoning gate, the difficulty of subsequent upgrades has sharply increased. Zhou seemed lost in thought. Roar. Bang. Hiss. The familiar roar and impact of desert mist lizards could be heard from afar. Upon hearing this sound, Zhou thought for a moment and walked over. Soon, he arrived at the sound source. I saw 8 desert fog lizards frantically colliding with the newbie Lord's protective shield in the crimson mist. Different from daytime. These desert fog lizards are not only covered in crimson mist in their eyes, but also wrapped in crimson mist around their bodies. And under the stimulation of the crimson mist, their bodies all grew by a circle. This makes them look like monsters crawling out of hell. Zhou glanced at these monsters. 7 black iron subordinates, 1 black iron intermediate. And the spoils of war explosion rate has not changed much. No wonder the Supreme will reminds us not to leave the Novice Lord's protective shield at night. Under the crimson mist, this group of monsters' combat power has increased. The explosion rate has not increased at all. For most Lord players, fighting is completely difficult and not pleasing. However, for me, it is a time when I can obtain a large amount of spoils of war. Zhou thought of it. I have seen Lord. Inside the protective cover. 46 soldiers, including Bai Yun, who were facing off against 8 desert fog lizards, immediately respectfully said when they saw Zhou coming. Don't worry about me. You can handle it yourselves. Zhou Dao. At this moment, he suddenly saw that there were only 3 arrows left behind Bai Yun, and it seemed that they had been used multiple times. Zhou thought for a moment and opened the Blue Star Lord Exchange to search for arrows. After the results appeared, he made a selection and finally purchased 100 arrows made of iron ore with 5 units of desert mist lizard blood and meat from black iron subordinates. These arrows look very standard and new. They should be lords with life professions, just recently created. Here you are. Zhou handed the extracted arrows to Bai Yun. Thank you very much, Lord. I just need these arrows. Bai Yun's eyes lit up when she saw this. I immediately took it over. She is very clever not to ask too many questions. Afterwards, Bai Yun led everyone to fight against these 8 desert fog lizards. In front of the protective shield of the blade and shield soldier, do not stop using the large knife in your hand to attack the desert mist lizard. Bai Yun watched the timing carefully behind and fired a series of deadly cold arrows. Soon, desert fog lizards began to suffer casualties. Zhou looked at it for a while, and finally his gaze fell on the black iron intermediate desert mist lizard. It is the most powerful among the 8 monsters. Zhou's mind twitched. Next second, his mental energy immediately shot out from the center of his eyebrows, instantly entering the brain of this desert mist lizard. Mind control. This desert mist lizard instantly stiffened in place. After a moment, it let out a low roar and turned its head to attack the other desert mist lizards. This scene instantly blinded both sides in the fight. Don't harm this fighting desert mist lizard. It's my thug now. Zhou's voice came from behind Bai Yun and the others. Bai Yun and others looked at each other in shock, then became even more excited. Kill. The morale of the 46 people was even stronger, and they wielded their knives more vigorously. Zhou noticed that his spiritual power seemed to be still at ease. So his gaze fell on a desert mist lizard below a black body. He's once again using mental control. Soon, this desert mist lizard also became his henchman and immediately joined the team besieging the remaining desert mist lizards. I feel like adding a black iron intermediate monster and a black iron subordinate monster is the limit of what I can control. If I control another black iron subordinate desert mist lizard, my mental power will probably be immediately drained, and then I estimate I will faint directly. Zhou gently rubbed his slightly painful temple, pondering in his heart. After a moment, under the siege of both inside and outside, all 6 remaining desert fog lizards were killed in battle. Lord Bai Yun and others brought over the bodies of 6 desert fog lizards and placed them in front of Zhou. Then he looked at him with a revered and fanatical expression. Obviously, I was shocked by Zhou's tactics just now. Zhou looked at the hint of increased loyalty in front of him and calmly began to extract the spoils of war. Then continue to search for other desert fog lizards to fight. Time flies by quickly. In the blink of an eye, 1 night has passed. As the first ray of sunlight appeared, the crimson mist dissipated at a visible speed to the naked eye, and most of the monsters born in the mist also disappeared as the mist dissipated. Only a portion of the misty monsters remained permanently on the supreme continent. The fog has finally dissipated. Zhou stretched lazily. At this moment, Bai Yun walked over quickly with all the soldiers and came to him. Lord! The desert fog lizards around the territory have been completely eradicated. Bai Yun respectfully said. Zhou nodded. He looked at the army behind Bai Yun with a smile on his face. I saw 212 sword and shield soldiers standing solemnly behind Bai Yun. Among them, Bai Yun broke through to the superior of black iron. In addition, Zhang Tsang and 8 others have broken through to the intermediate level of black iron. This is the result of their overnight battle. Let's all go eat and rest for 6 hours. 6 hours later, everyone will gather here. Then, follow me to attack the foreign lord's territory, he said in a deep voice. Yes. The crowd shouted angrily, their voices shaking the sky and earth. P.S. Seeking recommended tickets and collecting them. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Basic materials for 60,000 units. Gold level potential leads the people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Basic materials for 60,000 units. Gold level potential leads the people. After Zhou Zhou finished speaking, the soldiers went to eat together. The only couple of chefs in the territory, namely Qin Guang and his wife. They quickly brought up the prepared barbecue and water, and distributed them among the soldiers. I didn't expect that Lord would receive so many soldier support overnight. The barbecue is a bit tiring. Madame Qin Guang couldn't help but laugh as she watched the soldiers eating their food in full swing. I would rather die from exhaustion in my territory. I also don't want to die in the war outside. Not to mention, Lord is still so good. Rare monster flesh and blood, if you say you'll share it with us, then share it with us. Qin Guang looked at these soldiers with a smile on his face. On the supreme continent filled with war everywhere, Lord and the soldiers in front of them are undoubtedly the guardians who bring them peace and security. I will send the Lord's food over. Go ahead. Qin Guang brought a large plate of grilled meat to Zhou Zhou. Your Highness. You've been busy all night too. It's time to eat something too. This is a grilled meat made from the blood and flesh of the desert mist lizard elite. The subordinates also added some special seasoning to ensure that not only is the promotion energy not lost, but the taste will also be very good. Qin Guang handed over the grilled meat with both hands and respectfully expressed gratitude. Zhou Zhou was inspecting the gains from the battle that night, and upon hearing this, he took over easily. He picked up a piece of barbecue and ate it in just a few bites. This grilled meat, made from the blood and flesh of the desert mist lizard elite, quickly transforms into strands of subtle promotion energy after being eaten by him, integrating into various parts of his body to enhance his physical fitness. Zhou Zhou secretly said it's a pity. Although the promotion energy in this flesh and blood has not been lost, it is still more than the promotion energy obtained by directly killing monsters. But fortunately, it can flow slowly and accumulate slowly. If taken for a long time, it can also have a penetrating effect. He made an immediate decision. In the future, he and his professionals will eat food made from advanced meat and blood every day. Anyway, I can't finish eating all these flesh and blood. The barbecue tastes very good. You've been working all night, I'm sure you're also very tired. After finishing the task later, let's go rest. Zhou Zhou said to Qin Guang. Lord, you're too polite. Where do we work hard? The hard-working ones are Lord and all the professions of the military branches. Qin Guang was flattered and exclaimed in shock. Zhou Zhou smiled but didn't say much. Qin Guang took the initiative to leave upon seeing the situation. Zhou Zhou saw this and continued to organize last night's harvest while eating barbecue. After a moment. Organized. Last night, they killed a total of 537 black iron junior desert mist lizards, 159 black iron intermediate desert mist lizards, and 7 black iron superior desert mist lizard elites. Obtained a total of 1716 black iron level mist hearts. 17,800 units of flesh and blood, black iron bottom, middle, top. A water bag with a total weight of 1,084 kilograms. 710 non-grade knife shield soldier transfer certificate. 166 recruitment books for blade and shield soldiers. Now it has all turned into 166 sword and shield soldiers. 7 black iron superiors sand diving technique. I'm also about to break through to the black iron superior. Zhou felt the energy accumulation inside his body and thought to himself. He found that although the Lord could use his subordinate forces to kill monsters and promote himself, but the promotion energy required by the Lord seems to be particularly high. That's why Bai Yun and his team killed over 600 desert fog lizards overnight, and those who should have been promoted were promoted, but he still couldn't break through. He opened the world channel. Although it is morning at this time, it is still bustling here, with a large number of lords communicating here. Good morning everyone. Don't mention it, the foggy monster outside screamed all night and I didn't sleep well. The night was really scary. Last night, my younger sister dared to take a look at the protective cover and found hundreds of monsters surrounding it. I've also read it, no wonder Supreme will wants us not to go out at night. Who dares to go out? Get out. The Supreme will really values me. I only have 2 professional soldiers in my hands now, how can I face the novice lord test in 6 days' time? You have at least 2 more, I only have 1 spear soldier. I summoned 3 sword and shield soldiers from the summoning gate. Luck is always exchanged for lifespan. I'm so hungry. Who else sells food, big shots? So what about selling? The exchange is now dominated by the hand speed party, and whoever has the hand speed is their own. I'll go get the basic materials. Zhou thought of nearly 20,000 units of meat in his hands. He opened the exchange and set up a trade of 3,000 units of black iron subordinate desert mist lizard flesh and blood. As for why it wasn't sold entirely, it was because he thought it was better not to release so much meat at once. Gradually release it step by step. It can also avoid attracting too much attention from lords. However, even so, with a whopping 3,000 units of flesh and blood, it has once again become the top viewed trading on the exchange. At the same time, the lords on the World Channel once again discussed the mysterious Lord of the Scorching Sun. Take advantage of this moment. Zhou started reading the private message that he didn't finish reading yesterday. After a moment, he was somewhat disappointed after reading everything. Although these private messages are all intended for trading, they are all lords who want him to lower the price and trade basic materials with flesh and blood. He didn't reply to any of them and just cleared their messages. In the current market, it can be said that the supply of meat is in short supply. Only fools will lower prices. 10 minutes later, 3,000 units of black iron subordinate desert mist lizards flesh and blood have all been sold. Zhou glanced at the trading results. Transaction results. 12,500 units of wood, 20,500 units of fine sand, 13,620 units of metal, and 13,380 units of stone. We have received 60,000 units of basic materials again. Zhou is in a good mood. He closed the exchange interface and stood up to the summoning gate. Today is the 2nd day. You can summon new lords now. A text prompt appears. Tip. Do you want to summon immediately? Yes. Zhou Dao. Next second. The summoning gate lit up with a white light, and then 8 people walked out from inside. I have seen Lord. 8 people saluted in unison. Welcome to join Jiaoyang City. Zhou smiled and said. Then opened their personal information. Among 8 people, 5 men and 3 women. 6 of them are ordinary people without professions. The remaining 2 are a man and a woman. The man is a middle-aged man with a yellowish complexion. He is dressed in standard military armor, strong, holding a standard long spear that is over 2 meters long. He is a black iron intermediate long spear soldier. Women have a delicate face and look very attractive. He is a tailor from a black iron superior. Leader. LV Chong, Territory. Jiaoyang City, Branch Name. Spearman, Strength Class. Black Iron Intermediate, Ability Overview. Originally just a peasant Han, he was later forcibly conscripted into the kingdom army and became a long spear soldier, which gave him a desire to make contributions and make achievements. Skills. Black Iron Superior Formation Spear, Black Iron Intermediate Close Combat Fighting, Loyalty. 80, Potential. Silver Subordinate, Leader. Bao Xiu'er, Territory. Jiaoyang City, Life Profession Name. Tailor, Occupational Class. Black Iron Superior, Ability Overview. I have had a hobby of sewing old clothes since I was young, and as I grew up, I became an apprentice to a golden intermediate tailor. Later, due to the capture of my hometown by enemy troops, I was forced to separate from my master and apprentice. Skills. Tailor Craftsmanship. Sewing Technique, Black Iron Superior, Tailor Craftsmanship. Manufacturing of Protective Leather Clothes, Black Iron Superior, Tailor Craftsmanship. Manufacturing of Tiger Hat, Black Iron Superior, Tailor Craftsmanship. Shufengliu Tailor Crafts, Platinum Subordinate. Incomplete Mastery, Loyalty. 77, Potential. Gold Subordinate, PS. Add 1 update for every 100 recommended tickets. Reward with 1 change every 5,000 starting coins. Due to the new book period, the maximum number of updates allowed per day is 3. Additional updates will be added for the rest, please list and complete. Dear experts, please recommend tickets, collect and reward, end of this chapter. Chapter 10. Kill Lord Boz. Bronze Level Lord Talent Ball. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Kill Lord Boz. Bronze Level Lord Talent Ball. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. These two professionals are very good leaders. LV Chong is the first professional of the Long Spear Division in his territory. And this Bao Xiu'er is not only a black iron superior tailor, but also her potential is a golden subordinate. The potential of this level is not even comparable to the top talent of the platinum level human race genius. But it can also be considered a natural talent. Within one's own territory. Not counting oneself. She is the person with the highest qualifications. The only regret is that no architect was summoned. But it's not much. That temporary tent is also not unusable. At this moment, he suddenly noticed that the other person was staring at his clothes. Bao Xiu'er. Stay tuned. Zhou Zhou instinctively glanced at his clothes. It's not dirty either. It's just a bit torn after being busy for so long and fighting monsters again, it's so normal. Your Highness. Can I ask my subordinate to help you mend your clothes? Bao Xiu'er couldn't help but say. Zhou Zhou said, no need, just a little bit. Bao Xiu'er. Stay tuned Zhou Zhou. Here you are, here you are. Zhou Zhou took off his shirt and handed it to the other party. Bao Xiu'er happily took the clothes and boldly glanced at Zhou Zhou's abdominal muscles. Then she turned around and walked to a sitting stone, took out a sewing bag from her waist, and began to sew it carefully. Zhou Zhou didn't care about her when he saw this. He first asked LV Chong to go find Bai Yun and follow her instructions. Subsequently, all 4 remaining men were transferred to become blade and shield soldiers. The remaining 2 female leaders, Zhou Zhou, asked them to help the Qin Guang couple. Now there are over 200 people in his territory. Relying solely on Qin Guang and his wife to provide the food arrangements for all the residents is already somewhat strained. Just let them 2 help out. Afterwards, he returned to the Lord's wooden house to rest. I tossed and turned all day and night. Even though he is already a black iron intermediate creature, he still feels a bit tired. After more than 3 hours. Inside the Lord's wooden house. Zhou naturally woke up. It seems that my physical fitness and mental condition are indeed different from what I used to be as an ordinary person. I only slept for over 3 hours, but I feel like I slept for 8 hours. He felt extremely energetic and his mind was very clear at this moment. There is no feeling of insufficient sleep time at all. Zhou no longer thinks too much. He stood up and walked out of the Lord's cabin. I saw a large number of soldiers gathering outside. At this moment, they all rested and stayed together in groups of 3 or 5 chatting. After seeing the Lords come out, they all stood up and looked respectfully at Zhou. Bai Yun was originally wiping her bow and arrow alone on the side. After seeing Zhou, he quickly walked over. "Lord," she said respectfully. "How are you doing with everyone's rest? Didn't anything unexpected happen, did you?" Zhou asked. "Report to Lord, we have rested and are ready for battle at any time. As for the accident, it's not a big deal." The new tailor, for some reason, kept staring at the soldiers' standard equipment. Bai Yun hesitated for a moment and said. Zhou watched as the soldiers fought against the desert mist lizard, lost in thought as some of the damaged standard equipment. "Don't worry about her, she has no ill intentions. Besides, since we've all taken a break." Then immediately organized the team. "Prepare to leave the territory and fight against foreign lords." Zhou said in a deep voice. "Lord, are you also going?" "Actually, the other party's quantity is not very large, just leave it to us." Bai Yun hesitated and said. "I have to go." Zhou shook his head. He certainly knows that staying in the territory is the safest. But he has reasons to go. And there are over 200 soldiers to protect themselves, while also understanding the opponent's racial abilities. This time on the expedition, the probability of encountering danger oneself is not high. Yes. Bai Yun will no longer advise. She believes that the Lord has his own considerations. Afterwards, Bao Xiu'er delivered the repaired clothes and then handed over 2 pieces of equipment to Zhou. "Lord, these 2 pieces of equipment are for you. They are my previous works and also my heartfelt wishes. Wishing Lord a triumphant return. Bao Xiu'er wishes blessings." "Thank you." Zhou unexpectedly received the equipment sent by the other party. That is a blue leather jacket and a blue tiger patterned hat. He looked over and then raised his eyebrows. Equipment name. Protective leather clothes, equipment level. Black iron superior, equipment effect. Resilience. Reduces the physical damage of black iron weapons to the wearer by 30%. Black iron weapons cannot penetrate the wearer's body. Introduction. Wearing this leather jacket will make the skin very thick. Equipment name. Tiger pattern hat, equipment level. Black iron superior, equipment effect. Tiger blessing. Reduces mental and soul damage by 30% at the black iron level. When encountering abilities such as black iron level control, there is a 30% chance that you will be directly immune to the corresponding control effect. Introduction. This defense equipment is made of the tiger skin of the Phantom Mist Tiger, which has excellent effects when combating spiritual and soul abilities. These 2 pieces of equipment have quite practical effects. Zhou was somewhat surprised. Later, he didn't say much and walked out of the scorching sun city with everyone and 2 desert fog lizards under his control. After more than an hour, everyone finally found Lord Boz's territory. Far away. I saw it in the protective cover of the Novice Lord in all directions. The Lord's cabin and the summoning gate are both clearly visible buildings. In addition, there is a special building similar to a workshop located next to the Lord's wooden house. A member of the Carlo tribe is sitting in front of the building, sunbathing on a chair. Beside it lay two intermediate black iron desert mist lizards. It seems there is only one member of the Carlo tribe. Other ethnic groups are likely to have gone hunting. Then it should be what Lord Boz referred to as. Just pull it out of the novice lord's protective shield and kill it. This territory is no different from being destroyed. But how can we lure it out and kill it? Behind a sand dune. Bai Yun lay beside Zhou Zhou and analyzed. She furrowed her eyebrows slightly. I couldn't think of a solution for a moment. I have a way to give it a try. Zhou Zhou Dao. Bai Yun was taken aback. Later, Zhou Zhou said something in Bai Yun's ear, and after finishing, he looked at the other person. I think the Lord's method has a high possibility of success. Bai Yun's face was a bit red, but her eyes still lit up and she said. No wonder Lord has to come. This method can only be achieved with the Lord. Then give it a try. Zhou Zhou nodded. Within the city of Boz. Lord Boz is enjoying the sunlight. As members of the Carlo tribe, they do not need to eat, they only need to bask in enough sunlight to meet their energy needs for daily activities and physical growth. When I summon more tribe members and control more desert mist lizards, immediately go find the territory of that unfamiliar alien race. The great legend of Lord Boz will begin with defeating the first foreign lord. Boz was thinking about the alien race he met yesterday, and his heart was burning with ambition. Bang! Bang! Roar! Boz stood up and looked at the sound source. I saw one head covered in injuries, as if the desert mist lizard, which had experienced hundreds or thousands of battles, was constantly colliding with the protective cover of his territory. Isn't the nearby desert fog lizard already cleaned up? Is this new here? Boz was taken aback. Then it saw the injuries on the other person's body and couldn't help but smile at the corners of its mouth. What a stupid fog monster. How dare this kind of injury come to my territory? Our analysis is indeed correct. This kind of foggy monster doesn't have much wisdom at all. He called on the two desert fog lizards he enslaved and came to the protective cover. Still a black iron intermediate desert mist lizard. TSK TSK TSK. The misty heart brought to your door. It sighed. Then let the two desert fog lizards leave the protective cover to kill the injured fellow creature. The three desert fog lizards quickly started fighting, and then Boz saw that the injured desert fog lizard suddenly turned its head and ran away towards the distance. Chase. Boz had seen this kind of thing many times yesterday, so he gave the order without hesitation. Two desert mist lizards immediately chased after them. And because it wanted to maintain distance to control the desert fog lizard, it also walked out of its protective cover. It is not worried about being in danger. Because the fog monsters around him have long been cleared by his followers. At this moment, a rustling sound of gravel colliding echoed behind it. An incredibly strong sense of crisis suddenly appeared in Boz's mind. As soon as it turned around, it saw four alien races holding swords and shields rushing towards it from behind. It let out a scream. Next second, countless chaotic knives were chopped down. Lord Boz died on the spot. It stared at the sky with wide eyes. It seems that I didn't expect my life to end hastily like this. Zhang Tsang boldly walked forward, made two more cuts, and then respectfully said to the ground. Lord! The foreign lords have been executed. 3 or 4 seconds later. Beside the body of Lord Boz. The gravel automatically sinks down and separates in all directions. A celebrity figure was surrounded by gravel and slowly floated up from the ground. It's Zhou Zhou. He looked at the other person's body, with information about their body appearing in his eyes. Item name. The body of Lord Boz, item level. Black iron intermediate, item effect. It contains loot that has not been extracted yet. Item description. A lord of the Carlo tribe, who is highly skilled in spiritual cultivation, was later killed by the lord of the Blue Star human tribe. Loot explosion rate. For black iron level missed hearts, explosion rate. 100%, 1 bottle of black iron subordinate health potion, explosion rate. 100%, 1 bottle of black iron subordinate energy potion, explosion rate. 100%, 1 growing race skill book. Spirit control, explosion rate. 0.01%, 1 growing race skill book. Spirit perception, explosion rate. 0.001%, 1 bronze level Lord talent ball, explosion rate. 0%, PS, seeking recommended tickets, collecting, and commenting. End of this chapter.